present. It's just we're having technical difficulties with it.
Okay. Okay. Dana, you can hear us? Okay, good. So she's present. So yeah, for the record, Dana's present, Commissioner Goldman's present in the commission chambers, and she's just getting wired up here. Okay, Mauricio, I'll call the meeting to order. Would you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Goldman is here, but not on Zoom.
I heard her. I'll vouch for her.
Commissioner Vizcarra,
Here.
Commissioner Lama,
Here.
Vice Mayor Svechin,
Here.
Mayor Scholl,
Okay, here.
members present.
Okay, we're going to stand for the pledge since we're in the commission chambers. So if you're at home and you feel like standing, it's up to you. So, right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, we have our invocation tonight.
It's Father Flanagan, Mayor. And
Okay, Father Flanagan,
second, I'll
thank
bring-
you. Thank you for being here. Okay.
See me?
Nothing like a, yep, great.
Okay, good.
We've got a virtual invocation. Thank you, Father
Okay,
Flanagan.
great. Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Father Damien Flanagan, St. Mary Magdalene Church. Let's pray. O God, from whom all power comes, by whose divine will all must abide, we thank you for our civil liberties and freedom, for our opportunities and our privileges. We beg of you to bless, assist, and enlighten the commissioners, mayor, vice mayor, manager from Sunny Isles Beach. May they prove worthy of the confidence placed in them by their fellow citizens. May they be just and upright in their thinking, honest in all their actions, and ever be guided by a true conscience in what they propose or vote upon. And this we ask through our Creator God. Amen. God bless.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Father. Father,
Welcome.
thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
God,
Thank you.
God
God
bless.
bless.
Okay. I'll start with the approval. We had our hybrid regular city commission meeting on November 19th, and the minutes have been distributed. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay. I'm going to read off my opening statement and order of business, and then I'll say a few words. And so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you for joining us tonight. Please ensure that your microphone is muted to avoid interrupting the proceedings tonight. Individuals who want to speak on any item on the agenda are asked to use the raise hand function, which can be located by following these steps. If you are using an iPad, tap the center of your screen, tap on the three dots located at the top right-hand corner, select raise hand. If you are using a desktop, click on participants at the bottom of your screen, which opens a side window listing all the participants. On the participant screen, click on the three dots located on the bottom left-hand corner and select raise hand. If you called in and are listening on your phone, dial *9 to raise your hand, and the city clerk will call on you based on the last four digits of your phone number. So Mauricio is the Wizard of Oz when it comes to the technology tonight. When called upon, please state your name and address for the record. Speakers may also use the chat function to submit their comments and questions. These chats are only available to the commission, and the host or chair will read it into the record. The chat function is located at the bottom of the screen. Please make sure to type in your name and address for the record. Speakers are asked to speak to the issues, make comments concise and to the point, and refrain from making duplicate comments. All speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. If you exceed the 3-minute allotment, the chair will advise you to finish your comment. If you don't adhere to the chair's advice, your microphone will be shut off. There are changes to tonight's agenda. We have 2 add-on items. 5A, a special presentation accepting a plaque from Kidside Inc. Item 10I, a resolution correcting a previous resolution regarding the purchase of a shuttle bus. And additional information on item 10G, which was a resolution awarding Golden Shores streetlight bidding. The contract is provided, and item 10H, resolution approving the settlement agreement with Roma Corp, and the memo is revised. I ask for a motion to accept these changes to tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Do I hear a second? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, changes are accepted. Thank you. I just want to say a few words. As once again, I'm gonna put on my one blood hat, and I'm gonna tell everybody that we have a pretty serious situation again going on in South Florida regarding the coronavirus. So what you're reading in the newspaper is absolutely accurate. And I would tell you, you know, we're a little bit more fortunate in South Florida now because I believe, because we went through a serious wave in July and August, that people are a bit more vigilant and we're able to spend a little bit more time outside. So it's probably not hitting us quite as hard as the rest of the country, but it's hitting us, you know, make no mistake. So I would tell you that, you know, we need to remain vigilant. And, you know, that's basically the three things we all know about, which is wash your hands frequently, wear a mask, and watch your social distancing. Because ultimately, it's going to be, you know, it's not over yet. I know the vaccine is starting to get distributed on a priority basis. I've been in touch with the governor's office. We've been talking about that. But at the same time, it's going to be a while before the vaccine gets to the public, just based on the sheer volume needed and the manufacturing capabilities, you know, the vaccine makers and the approval process of the FDA. But I can tell you that, you know, don't let your guard down, please. You know, take the virus seriously. I know people are tired. They're getting a little bit more complacent sometimes, but it's going to be, you know, what do they say in Game of Thrones? Winter is coming. And so we have the benefit down here of not being locked inside. In other parts of the country, they're going to have much greater problems because, you know, most people stay inside. And then if anybody's infected, you know, it stays within closed quarters and it becomes more problematic. It's one of the benefits of living in South Florida. And this is why we've seen a lot of our real estate transactions going up lately, because a lot of folks are moving here from other places that can afford to come down here. So I'm not sure that that's the best reason for an increase in real estate prices, but I guess we take it where we can get it. So once again, I just want to let everybody know, please, you know, continue to be careful and, just keep an eye on yourself, your loved ones, and happy holidays to everyone. So with that, we're going to start the meeting. So we have item 5A, our special presentation, and this is a report by Commissioner Vizcarra.
Good evening, everyone. As you may recall, the city of Sunny Isles Beach was the first municipality to become a partner, a donor and partner with KidSide Inc. And we approved that donation, I think 2 meetings ago. And KidSide wanted to present us with a plaque in recognition of that donation and partnership. So I will leave it to Mauricio to work his magic.
1 second, Commissioner. Let me just bring her on. It's Marian Ortega, correct?
Correct.
Okay, Marian, if you can just turn on your camera or your microphone.
Will do. Excellent. Thank you so much. I wanted just to start off by saying thank you so much to you all. Your donation has truly, especially, you know, during COVID, and Family Court Services in dire need of assistance has truly provided tremendous support for them so that they're able to assist the children of our community and your community wide. And we wanted to go ahead and present you with this plaque. I hope you could see it, but I'll be delivering it in person tomorrow. You know, it just says thank you so much, again, because your support is really, truly instrumental. So we're just incredibly grateful for your help.
Thank you. And we're grateful for your work as well. So we
so much.
As a community, we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. And thank you all again.
Thank you, Marian. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, I'll drop it off tomorrow morning.
Yes, we will.
That'll be great. That'll be great. So thank you for participating tonight.
No, thank you all. Have a wonderful evening and happy holidays.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Great job. Okay, we're going to move on to our zoning matters. Item 6A, Mauricio. You need to come off mute.
Excuse me, sorry about that. 6A is a zoning application for the 250 191st Terrace. It's a variance application. And I have Claudia coming on right now.
Claudia.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Much better than last time.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Mauricio, can you bring the applicant also? He should be under Michael Godnick, please.
Michael Govnick.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. Mauricio should be reading the variance.
Yes, I'm sorry, the opening statement. Okay. In accordance with the City of Sunny Isles Beach LDRs, all notices have been posted on the property and have been mailed. This is a zoning item for, like I said, the property located at 250 191st Terrace, and it's a variance application. So I'm going to have the applicant, Mr. Michael Gotnick, if you can please raise your right arm to be sworn in.
Mauricio, the applicant is actually Vladimir Gorogoski. He's using just his grandchild.
Okay, I'm sorry,
account.
Vladimir.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm his grandson. I'm just like helping him on his behalf, use Zoom and stuff. So.
Okay, then I'm going to need to swear both of you in if you're going to be helping him and speaking as well. So if you can both raise your right arm. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Claudia.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you. Tonight we have a request from Mr. Vladimir and Anna Gorogoski. They're the applicants for their property located at 250 191st Terrace. This is a variance for a rear setback for a gazebo, for an accessory structure. The applicant, it is a single family home, and they are proposing to cover their barbecue with this gazebo, which is not going to be more than 9 feet height. And it is actually being requested to be placed 3 feet from the rear property line instead of the 6 feet that is required as per the code section 265-45F. We have reviewed the application. We also have requested that he submitted letters from the neighbors, a letter of no objections, and he has been able to provide 2 of his neighbors with those letters. We have reviewed the location, the property, and staff is recommending approval based that he follows all the stipulated conditions for this application. You can review also the pictures and the applications and the plans in this application. And if you have any questions, we are here to answer you.
Okay, Mauricio, is there any public comments on this issue?
Not for this, Mayor.
Okay, and Claudia, you said that they got letters from their neighbors to non-objection, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any comments from the commission?
I just had a quick question. Mayor.
Go
Just
ahead.
for clarification, Claudia, what is going to be adjacent to the gazebo? You had mentioned that there's some shrubbery there that's pretty tall. If you could just clarify what that is and how tall it is.
Sure. To the area where he's requesting the setback, basically to the rear, he has his fence, which is a wooden fence or 6 feet tall. And then he has a green bushery, green wall, basically, of almost 10 feet tall. So the neighbor from the rear won't be able to even notice this gazebo.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other comments? Commissioner Goldman. You got to come off
cannot
mute,
hear
Commissioner
you.
Goldman.
Yes, I cannot hear you.
Yeah, you have to come off mute.
Actually, I did notice that in these photographs that actually the covering of the gazebo would not exceed the height of the shrubbery. So for me, I don't see this as any creating any issue with the surrounding properties or the neighbors. So I appreciate that you provided that, as well as the no objection letters from your adjoining property owners.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, with that, I'll ask for a motion. Motion by Vice Mayor Sechin. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Goldman. Mauricio, is this a voice vote?
Yes, Mayor, if we can do a voice vote for this, please.
Okay, all right.
Commissioner
Go
Viscara,
ahead.
Yes.
Commissioner Lama,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Svechin,
Yes.
Commissioner Goldman,
Yes.
Mayor Scholl.
Yes,
The application is approved 5-0.
thank you. Thank you very much. It's always good to have a grandson who's technical. So you better keep him around.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Thank you. Thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. We move on to item, where are we?
We are on
Is that
item
it
9.
for item 9A? Okay, ordinances for second reading. Correct. Okay. Mauricio, would you like to read into the record?
Yes, 9A is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Sunny Isles Beach, amending Chapter 22 of the Code of Ordinances entitled City Departments Created to eliminate the Planning and Zoning Department and Code Compliance Department, creating the Development Services Department, providing for repealer, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the City Code, providing for an effective date, and this is second and final reading.
A big restructure. Okay, Chris.
Okay, well, as we discussed last time, this is being done in order to better coordinate additional challenges that we have come under for many reasons. Most significant, as I mentioned last time, was the advent of the short-term rental situation. And we've been working on this for some time, as you know. And the concept came from the example that we used was Coral Gables. We found that they have a very successful and efficient operation similar to this. I have nothing else to add at this time. We recommend the second reading be approved.
Okay. Any questions for the city manager? None. Any public comment, Mauricio?
No, Mayor, not for this.
Okay. Okay. With that, I'll take a motion. Okay. Motion by Vice Mayor Sechin. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Goldman. And voice vote, Mauricio.
Commissioner Lama,
Yes.
Commissioner Viscara,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Svechin,
Yes.
Commissioner Goldman,
Yes.
Mayor Scholl.
Yes.
The ordinance is adopted.
Okay. Dana, will you go on mute when you're not talking? Because I get I get a little bit of feedback. So yeah, you just pop up. You just kind of pop back and forth when you're going to talk. That's all. Okay. Okay. Item 9B.
Okay, 9B is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 129 entitled Communication Facilities of the City's Code of Ordinances to amend Section 129-4 to permit stealth facilities on exterior walls, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an effective date. The second and final reading.
Okay. Ed.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. We discussed this the last time. Currently, our code does not permit communications equipment on outside walls. As you know, we've been inundated by some of the telecommunications industry trying to put wireless facilities along Collins Avenue. This is just permitting folks to put these types of facilities on the exterior of buildings, provided that they are covered with a covering that matches the exterior of the building.
Okay, Mauricio, are there any comments from the public on this second reading?
No, Mayor.
None. Do I hear any comments from the commission on the second reading? None. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Goldman, second by Commissioner Viscara. All in, voice vote, Mauricio.
Commissioner Goldman? Yes. Vice Mayor Svechin?
Yes.
Commissioner Viscara?
Yes.
Commissioner Lama?
Yes.
Mayor Scholl?
Yes,
The ordinance is adopted.
thank you. We move on to item 9C.
9C is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, amending Article 1 of Chapter 195 of the Code of Ordinances entitled Anti-Semitism and Enforcing Laws to provide additional examples of anti-Semitism in Section 195-3A and additional examples of anti-Semitism related to Israel in Section 195-3B, providing for repealer, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the City Code, providing for an effective date. This is second and final reading.
Ed,
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Once again, this is second reading. Commissioner Lama brought to our attention some additional examples of anti-Semitism and anti-Semitism related to Israel a couple of months ago due to his work with the Miami-Dade League of Cities. Our current ordinance does provide for these, but these are additional examples which will bolster the types of enforcement that our police department can make with respect to anti-Semitism.
thank you, Ed. Mauricio, do we have any comments from the public on this item?
No, Mayor.
Any comments from the commission on the second reading?
Only that I think it's appropriate that we're discussing this on second reading on the eve of Hanukkah. So I think that's nice.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well stated. And we lit the I lit the rabbi servants candle last week. We were all there. So that was that last Monday. So first day of Hanukkah. Okay, with that, I'll take a motion. Okay, Vice Mayor, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to say quickly, I've been on a number of Zooms lately regarding this topic, and I want to again commend Commissioner Lama for bringing this forward. I got to tell you that one of the main conversations around this topic is the fact that you can't fight anti-Semitism if you can't address it and you can't define it. And that's one of the major things that needs to be done. So it sometimes feels like, well, we all know what that is, but unfortunately, many, many people don't. And you'd be surprised how many millennials and just high schoolers and all kids don't even know what the Holocaust is. So I appreciate that very much, Commissioner Lama. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Excellent. As I always say in business, you can't manage what you don't measure. So, okay. With that, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
So, okay, I have a motion by Vice Mayor. I have a second by Commissioner Viscara. Mauricio?
Vice Mayor Svechin?
Yes.
Commissioner Lama?
Yes.
Commissioner Viscara?
Yes.
Commissioner Goldman? Mayor Scholl?
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted.
Okay, that's it for the ordinances. We move on to resolutions. We're making good progress tonight. Item 10A.
10A is a resolution ratifying a First Amendment to the Enterprise Service Agreement with Vigilant Solutions LLC for access to license plate reader data. And this is for the chief. If you give me 1 second, I'll bring him on. The chief, go ahead.
There he is.
Good evening, everybody. Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners. Again, this request is for ratifying the First Amendment to the Enterprise Service Agreement with Vigilant Solutions for access to license plate data and an amount not to exceed $18,450.
Well, the license plate readers don't do us much good if we don't have access to the data, right, Chief?
That's absolutely correct, especially the commercial data. That really comes in handy.
Understood. Mauricio, do you have any comments from the public on this matter?
No, Mayor.
None. Any comments from the commission? Okay, I'll take a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Goldman. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Viscara. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Item 10B.
10B is a resolution approving an interlocal agreement with Miami-Dade County for direct radio communication between 911 public safety answering points and first responder agencies.
Again, Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, again, this is a request for an approval of the interlocal agreement for our 911 system.
Okay, any public comments, Mauricio?
No, Mayor.
Any comments from the commission? Hearing none, I'll take a motion. Okay, Commissioner Goldman made the motion. Vice Mayor Sechin, second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, Mauricio, item 10C. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
10C is a resolution approving a sixth amendment to the agreement with Perkins and Will Architects, Inc. for the architectural design services for the pedestrian overpass bridge at 18080 Collins Avenue. And this is from Rick. 1 second, Mayor. Rick, go ahead. Rick, are you there?
You want to come up? Yeah, you want to come off mute. There you go, Rick.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners and City Manager and staff. This agenda item is another add-on for our DOT review process for the pedestrian bridge at the Government Center. We needed to include detailed maintenance of traffic plans to reflect the construction schedule and scoping for the different lane change configurations that we're going to have to go through. And so that's what this covers.
Thank you, Rick. Mauricio, any comments from the public?
No, Mayor.
None? Any comments from the commission? Okay, Vice Mayor.
Hi, Rick. Just for the people that are listening in or watching, if you can just clarify why there's an additional cost and how this changed from before and why it keeps changing, basically.
Well, this was an item that was not in the original proposal, the scope of work. Normally, at the end of the day, the MOT is actually done by the contractor, but in this case, because we have a project that's going to have to shut down Collins Avenue, part of what DOT wanted to see is to make sure that through the construction sequencing, we actually have a plan that will work to shut down the appropriate lanes, so they can review the impacts that we're going to have to traffic and pedestrian traffic throughout the construction, because it's such a big, it's a big project. So this is just an additional service item that they're requesting.
So basically, this is not a cost that we would have normally not had. Usually, it would be the contractor that would give us this cost at the end of the project or at the beginning when the contractor is approved.
That's correct.
Okay, just wanted the clarification. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Rick? Okay, hearing none, I will take a motion. Okay, motion by Vice Mayor Sechin. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lahman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. Thank you, Rick. All right, happy holidays. We move on to item 10D.
10D is a resolution ratifying the expenditure of budgeted funds with ChristmasDesigners.com for the purchase of holiday decorations. And Mayor, we can actually combine this one and 10E as well. Okay, so
Excellent.
10E is a resolution ratifying the expenditure of budgeted funds with Christmas designers for the lease of holiday decorations. And this is for Sylvia.
Okay, Sylvia.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Good to see you. We hear you.
Okay. Honorable Mayor and Commission, this item is for ratifying funds with Christmas designers. We originally purchased a couple of our holiday decorations to own through them. That includes the lighted ornament that you see at Heritage Park in the evenings and the photo frame that you see at Town Center Park in the evenings. And then after that, we went back to them and obtained a quote for doing our tree wraps for the holiday season. So we went with them to, they've wrapped all of the trees throughout the city, Heritage Park, Sampson Park, Gateway Park, and then the 3 entrances.
So next year, we're all lobbying for the Majul palms along Collins Avenue. That's a big one. But that's what, you know, so we're very pleased with the work that was done this year. But next year, you might want to, you know, during the summer, take a look at it.
So how do you like the decorations on the street poles on Collins Avenue?
Very
No,
nice.
I think they're great. Yeah, they're very nice. They're really nice. Yeah, we just when I look at the Majuls, I think, you know, again, everybody compares us to Bal Harbor, and what makes Bal Harbor stand out is that those trees are wrapped, you know. So I think along Collins, if we can get our trees wrapped in addition to what's on the poles, it's going to be off the charts, you know. So, but I think this is the first year we've had the poles available. The ornaments are beautiful, you know, great job. I've gotten a bunch of compliments on them. This time of year, I get more negative feedback for not having anything. But this year, I think that we put the naysayers to rest. So,
Okay, very good.
So, great. Okay. Any public comments on this, Mauricio?
No, Mayor, none.
Okay. So again, we're voting on item 10D and 10E. Any comments from the commission?
I have a quick question for Sylvia. Sylvia, does this include the menorah that was added at Gateway?
No, so we actually did that through a separate vendor. The vendor that we got the street pole decorations from is Miami Christmas Lights, and they provided the menorah at Gateway Park.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I give you the comment from a caller, and he was very appreciative of that, and he would like to see a bigger one next year.
Okay, very good.
Screen here we go. You see that, Sylvia? You know, once you start, it's a slippery slope. That's what happens, you know. So it's
I've learned that very quickly in this job. Yes.
Yeah. You give them an inch and they want a foot. You know, that's how it goes. You know. So, any other comments from the commission? Okay, I will.
Looks beautiful.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Keep it up.
Thank you, Jennifer. Yep, excellent. Okay, so we're voting on item 10D and 10E. I'll take a motion. So moved, Commissioner Goldman. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Viscara. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Item 10D and 10E are adopted. Item 10F, Mauricio.
Thank you.
10F is a resolution declaring Larissa suspension as vice mayor.
Okay. This has been a very, very challenging year for me, I can tell you. You know, being a mayor and running a blood center in the middle of a pandemic has not been the highlight of my career, I can tell you. The Vice Mayor Sechin has done a fantastic job backing me up throughout the year. And I don't think next year is going to be any easier, as I open the meeting with. So I am requesting that we keep her in tow for at least another year. Any public comment on this, Mauricio?
No, none.
No? Any comment from the commission? Okay, Vice Mayor Sechin, thank you very much. I will take a resolution, or I will take a, what will I take?
Motion.
You know, I'll take a motion. Yeah, this is a resolution. I'll take a motion. Okay.
So moved.
By Commissioner Viscara, do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Lama, second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Larissa. Item 10G.
10G is a resolution awarding invitation to bid number 20-09-012 and approving an agreement with AUM Construction, Inc. for the Golden Shores Street Lighting Improvement Project.
Mr. Manager.
So we had 5 bids on this project. The range was between about $1,750,000 to $3 million. We found that the low bidder meeting all our requirements in the bid. AUM, which happens to be a locally owned company, is the recommendation by staff after extensive reference checks, bid document conformance, and consultation with our consultants involved with the undergrounding process. As you all know, we, in order to accommodate a substantial request from the Golden Shores community, our project managers and our engineers planned to do something very different than on Collins. There, the situation was much different with the power lines being in the same location as the street lights. In this case, the power line work is going to be removing the overheads in the rear and placing them in the street on the right of way. So with that kind of situation, we were able to commit to get the street lighting system in, which will not affect the undergrounding process that will start later. So we're recommending this award tonight. It will take a few months to procure the equipment before you start to see them working on it. So I want to just make sure everybody realizes that we don't award this tonight and start next week. It's going to take probably 2 to 3 months to procure the materials and the lights and equipment for this. But we're very confident we've got a good contractor on this.
Thank you. Mauricio, any comments from the public on this item?
No, Mayor.
None. Any comments from the commission? Vice Mayor.
First of all, of us, it's very, very dark there. And this has been in a long time coming, and I appreciate the fact that it's a local company, because if anything goes wrong, we can find them rather quickly. So thank you.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention, this is going to be like Collins, and there's going to be lights put up. It's based on a lighting study, but in this neighborhood, there will be lights on both sides of the street. The look is much better than when they're just on one, and the spread of light is tremendously better that way.
What is the EPA also
So I'm not taking that. We have a comment from the public. It says, where's the ETA and where can we see the renderings?
Well, as I just said.
Okay. Yeah. So you can see the renderings at City Hall and the ETA. So Chris, can you just repeat one more time what the timing looks like?
Yeah. Well, like I said, don't expect to see activity in the neighborhood for a few months. It's going to take probably around 3 months to procure all the materials that they need for this project.
Okay. Thank you. And then I got one comment today through, I guess, from one of the subcontractors of one of the bidders, kind of, challenging our pick. And the fact is, when we, and then I'm going to write him back, but I didn't write him back yet. I just got it in this afternoon. So, but I did speak to the manager about it. And the fact is that the bid that he was referring to was, basically engineered, did not meet our specifications, and it was re-engineered in order to get the price lower without meeting our specifications. So when we looked at the differences, but the point was that that particular bid, we did look at it carefully, and that it was considered by our engineers and our advisors, and ultimately AUM, we decided was the best pick for the job. So I'm going to write him back specifically, but in case he's listening in tonight, I want him to know, that we didn't ignore, I didn't ignore his request for, for putting an additional eye on it. With that, I will take a motion. Okay, Vice Mayor Stetchen makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Viscara. All in favor? Aye. Aye. All right. Good. And I like when we can. I agree with Vice Mayor. I like when we can do things with local contractors. That's always a good sign. So, item 10H.
H is a resolution approving a settlement agreement between the City of Sunny Isles Beach and Roma Corp. Inc.
Okay, Chris, you're up again.
Okay, so as you know, Tony Roma has decided with the start of the pandemic, they had closed up soon after, and we had anticipated initial thoughts on this was to consider bringing in another restaurant. After some time to really think this out and learn a lot about social distancing and all the measures that are being taken combined, recommended for all the safety and health reasons, especially in this building here, we realized that something that we've always known, but when it hits home in a with a health and safety situation like this, it really makes you think hard and long. And the time that they were closed, while we were working with some other entities to take over the space, we came to the realization that we need that space. We have an unbelievable amount of traffic through here, and it's significantly targeting the third floor. That's where most of it goes. The building department, engineering, planning, zoning, code compliance. The traffic on that floor, if you've ever been in here, you'll know it's packed. We went to appointment only, and that made the whole difference. Many municipalities closed their city halls just for the reason of the amount of people that went in there. We never closed anything. We just handled it better. And better, we've determined, means that in the best interest of the city and our residents, we're going to take possession. Well, we have taken possession of it, came to an amicable settlement with the Roma Corp. And my plan is to move the building department and engineering into that space and relieve the burden on this building.
So just so everybody's clear, Tony Roma's was going to vacate anyway. They didn't, the Roma Corp did not want to stay in the building. They wanted to try to do a deal with another restaurateur and hand the lease off to a third party. I've never been a big fan of the city being a landlord, a commercial landlord for anybody, just because I feel it's a bit of a conflict sometimes. We went through this with Gateway Park, where we had a restaurant in there that wanted to move in, and then ultimately they fell apart, and then we had to negotiate our way out of it. So I kind of feel like when we can, city assets are city assets. And so I was very supportive. I knew Chris needed the space. We had talked about building a building next door at one point, and there was going to be some spillover space in that building. We didn't do that, obviously. And so I think that this was a very good alternative, for a building that's already in existence. So, and close proximity to City Hall. And as Chris pointed out, the traffic that would normally wander through City Hall is going to have a takeout window, so they'll be able to get, maybe a side of permits and and some mashed potatoes. So we'll see. But it should be pretty, it should be pretty efficient, I guess, is what I'm saying. And it keeps the traffic out of City Hall as well. Mauricio, any comments from the public on this matter?
No, Mayor, none.
Okay, any comments from the commission besides my own? Okay, Vice Mayor.
Yes, wait, yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to quickly say that, Chris, you had mentioned that that window would be for coffee. I just want to make sure we have that on the record.
I don't know if we're going to have that. We're making a small, there'll be a small kitchen in that area. I don't know if it's going to be quite where that window is, but we may be able to pull off a coffee window.
Okay, just checking. Thank you.
I don't know about that. It might have to be somebody in the building department.
So you're saying it'll be permits and a cafe con leche, yeah? So
the vice mayor stole my comment. I just want to go on record with that. But also, I really like the idea of using that space for municipal purposes, and the parking lot would be for the city. It's like a campus, and not being spread. We have like trailers, you know, under the Lehman. Like it'd be nice to have everything, you know, as a mini campus with the coffee window. If we can make a motion on that right now, like we can take care of that with the coffee.
Great. Commissioner Goldman.
Coffee window.
You have to come off mute. Yeah, you got to hit the mute.
Okay, there we go. So I know that we had been, there was talk about a sublease at the time before the pandemic hit. I just wanted to know, for the record, how long was this lease? What was the balance or the length of this lease to expire?
32 more months.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Dana. Yeah. Okay. No other comments? I will take a motion.
So moved.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Goldman, second by Commissioner Viscara. All in favor? Aye. Yeah. I always raise the hand in the Zoom world because that way we don't have to talk. So, or go off mute. Okay, motion carries. Thank you again. Good work, Chris. This one's been a long time coming, but I think this is a very good outcome. And right, and then we'll have to have Commissioner Viscara's tack on motion eventually, or tack on resolution for the for the coffee window.
I'm getting a lot of pressure on that one.
I know. So okay, we're going to move on to item 10I, which is an add-on item.
10I is a resolution, correcting resolution number 2020-3134 to reflect the correct vendor for purchase of a 2020 Dorado Aero shuttle bus and authorizing the issuance of a purchase order to Texas Bus Sales.
Sylvia.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Commission. I'm sorry for having to come back to you on this one. So you approved this item last month. There was a change with the HGAC and who they had the contract through. So we originally had this through Atlantic Bus Sales and El Dorado. It's still going to get manufactured from El Dorado, but the contract is through Texas Bus Sales, and so we need to make that change.
Okay. Any public comment, Mauricio?
No, Mayor, none.
So the Texans didn't, or the folks from Atlanta didn't line up on this one. Any comment from the commission? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve. So moved by Commissioner Goldman, Vice Mayor Sechin, second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, that is it for our resolutions, and we will move on to discussion items. Item 12.
You got muted, bud.
I'm sorry. We are going to move that's it for our resolutions this evening. We've got two discussion items. We're going to move on to item 12A. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is something that I was planning to talk about last month, but then decided it makes a lot more sense this month since the shorter meeting. And this is really revolved around public trust. And we all know that if the last month or so, elections have been in the news. And I thought it's important that we have a conversation about elections and just what the voters expect of us. I wanted to quickly read something from the Florida Constitution, just as a reminder for those that are listening, so they understand that the office of this office is for the public, not for us. And so, from the Constitution, a public office is a public trust. The people shall have the right to secure and sustain that trust against abuse. And the reason I bring that up is because what was discovered in this past election, our local election, I'm not talking about what's happening in other areas of the county, was that our current code is sort of loose. So some of the qualifying criteria is not very clear. And so I wanted to have a discussion, and I did speak to Ed about this already, so he's aware, obviously. But I wanted to have a discussion with the commission about potentially changing our code so that it becomes very clear who qualifies to run for office and how that qualification is presented to our city clerk, because I personally was kind of surprised that our clerk, Mauricio, a lot of what he does in that process, which I think most of the voters do not know, is ministerial. So with that, my request is that when someone, and Ed, please jump in at any point, for any subsequent elections, that the qualifying criteria that we have in our code now is cleaned up so that when it's presented to our clerk, the clerk is able to very quickly see that that criteria has been met. So it's not just, it's not as subjective. So Ed, can you just chime in a little bit as far as what it is currently?
Sure. Mayor, Commissioners, currently our code only provides for the filing of an oath that Mauricio administers. Once that oath is signed or executed in his favor, his job is over with. He can't challenge anything. It's purely ministerial. That person's name must go on the ballot. So I think what the Vice Mayor is suggesting is, as a couple of other jurisdictions, is to require some form of identification to show that the person has in fact resided in the city within a year of running for office. Valerie did some research for us. There are several communities close to us that do require something more than what we do. I think that we just want to get some idea. If the commission is interested in proceeding, we can bring an amendment to the code at next meeting or the following meeting, whatever is your pleasure, to tighten that up a little bit, to require some form of identification in order to demonstrate that the person in fact has been a resident of the city of Sunny Isles Beach for a year prior to qualifying.
Okay. Is it commission comments? Dana, go ahead. Yeah, you got to come up.
So I've actually heard or been apprised of a municipality in particular that's done this, and I think North Miami might be instructive in terms of some of the requirements that they put forth for. So I'd want you to take a look at North Miami and what they've done in terms of for that purpose.
May I respond, Mayor? In fact, we have, Commissioner, and what the city of North Miami currently requires is a Florida government issued identification plus one type of residency showing that the candidate has continuously resided in the district for a period of 1 year prior to the time of qualification. So that's exactly what we were talking about. If that's the pleasure of the commission, we can certainly make that amendment pretty quickly.
Okay, I think that's instructive.
Yeah, I think, just so you know, Miami-Dade, in addition to the affidavit, they have to submit proof of residency, which includes one of the following documents: voter's registration, driver's license, property tax receipt, homestead exemption, utility bill, or a lease agreement. So there is, other jurisdictions have required more than we currently do, and we're happy to provide that if that's what the commission would like.
I know we've talked about this at length in our briefing this week, but that's I'm glad you have that particular municipality as a model.
Well, it sounds like our standard is if you're breathing, you can run. So I think that's yeah.
I can't hear Dana.
Yeah,
I just wanted I wanted to add that this is for the purpose of, this is for the voters. The voters need to trust that the people that are running for office are qualified to run for office, and people just make assumptions that everyone is vetted and everything is checked, and that's not the job of the city or the city clerk. He's not an investigator. And so this is just an additional step. This is not to prohibit anyone, because it's really important that people still feel that they can run for office, but they have to show some sort of proof. And if I can just add, it needs to be an original, not a photocopy. I don't know if I mentioned that before. That was my suggestion. And I'm sorry, Jennifer, you were going to speak.
No, it's fine. I think it's certainly time. You know, it's time. We're a younger city, and you know, things got started and they've worked so far, but it's part of growing up. And I think we need to take a hard look at all of it and have like an honest conversation about it.
Alex, any comment?
I agree with everything I heard.
Okay. So, you know, I also agree. It's interesting. You know, I believe that everybody who wants to run for office that's qualified should be able to run for office. But I've also personally been in a race where, you know, people will jump into the race and then change their mind, and you know, and we want folks that run for office to take running for office seriously. And I believe that, you know, meeting the residence requirement and having to prove it, it's a level of seriousness that shows that you're committed to the community. You've been here for a while, you know, you're not popping in. And let's face it, you know, this issue at a state and at a state level and even a county level is rampant with issues because, you know, people live in one district and they want to run in another district. That's not the case here because we're a small community. So our little 4 areas but the fact is, you know, there's always issues with these county elections and state issues, state elections, almost every election, because, you know, people are getting put up to run for different reasons and then they're not qualified. And you remember, who was it? The former senator, you know, the Herald knocked on her door in the other neighborhood and she answered and it was a mess. But anyway, so my, you know, my recommendation is make it serious. You know, let's make it have legs. I mean, because, you know, let's not make it you show up with your driver's license and you can run. If it's a year, let's figure out a mechanism to make folks prove they've been here a year. I don't know what that mechanism is. I think Commissioner Goldman had a good suggestion to maybe model another community that it's working in. That's fine with me. But my point is that I'm going to err on the side of, you know, of it having some teeth, because I think I agree with Vice Mayor Fetchin. The voters assume all this stuff is taken care of. And by the way, Mauricio shouldn't have to make decisions. He should have a checklist. You know, it shouldn't be up to Mauricio to have to be subjective. You know, just like how many times have I said, let's not put an ordinance on the books that we can't enforce. You know, let's make it, let's do things that, you know, that we can hold people accountable to. So, so Ed, you know, go out and work your legal magic and, you know, come back to us with what you think is appropriate.
We will. Thank you.
Okay, we've got a few chats here.
Yes, Mayor. Do you want to go ahead and read them or you want me to read them? Okay, so we have the first one from Carla Mast. She says, I couldn't agree with this more. We require more documentation for a resident ID when enrolling in aftercare than we do for someone running for office. Some of the documents that you mentioned don't prove you've been a resident for a year. Do you want to address that, or Ed?
I agree. You know, I was being a smart aleck when I said you got to be breathing, but the fact is that you know, I tend to agree. But you know, as Jennifer pointed out, you know, we started out as a young city. We didn't pay a lot of attention to this. I mean, when we first started, you know, it was a lot looser, and now I think, you know, the city's maturing, and so I think we're in complete agreement. Go ahead, Mauricio.
Okay. This next comment is from Anna Uran. I support Vice Mayor Fetchin, and it is a protection to all. The next one is from Jimmy. His question is, can someone run for a 2 to 3 year office and move out of the city after a month of being elected and keep the office?
That's a good question. You can be, what is it? You have to be here. You can be out for a year, is it? Is it, if you move, you have to leave your office within a year? Is that how it works? If I remember correctly, Chris, do you remember? I think if you move, you have a year to come. For some reason, I think that there's a year issue there. You know, what he's asking is, can you get elected and then move out of the city? I don't think so.
He can't, Mayor. The person that qualifies to run as a candidate and wins that office needs to reside in that district for the duration of the term of office. If not, they forfeit that seat.
Right.
Okay, I didn't remember. I thought there was like a grace period once you move, that that there's some kind of grace period. But the bottom line is you got to live in your district, or live in the city. In my case, as the mayor, I'm at large. I could live anywhere in the city, so I could terrorize anybody's neighborhood on the commission. So I have to be terrorizing Dana's.
Right. I'm sorry, Mayor. Just to clarify, you're elected at large, but the rest of the commissioners live or represent a district in the city. Each of those commissioners reside within that district in order to maintain that office.
Correct. Okay.
And if they move, they forfeit that office.
Correct.
That's how it works. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why I thought there was a grace period in the code, but it doesn't. But to answer Jimmy's question, that's the answer. So you've got to stay in the city and in your district for that matter. Okay. I think Ed's got his marching orders. Any other comments on this from the public, Mauricio?
None, Mayor.
None. Okay. Any other comment from the commission? Okay. We move on to 12B, discussion regarding water and sewer lines. Commissioner Goldman.
The news of Biscayne Bay and its condition is pretty obvious to many. We, of course, have a lot of real estate that abuts the north part of Biscayne Bay, and it's in very bad condition. We've had some horrific accidents that very notably, even one downtown where a large water main broke due to supposedly inclement weather conditions. But my question is really about the integrity of our water and sewer lines in our city. We not only have a situation of spills, but of course we have the whole replacement of a big sewer line right abutting us in the adjacent municipality, North Miami Beach. So for me, I want to know, how do we study or understand or evaluate the integrity of our water and sewer lines and pipes in our city, and what do we need to do to assess that? So is it really our task to really to review those water and sewer lines, or is this something that North Miami Beach for the water lines or the county really has jurisdiction over? I just want to know, how do we know the quality and integrity of our own water and sewer lines in our city, so that we don't face the kinds of disruptions that we've seen all around us? And of course, from a standpoint of whether these lines leak into the area, the surrounding area, and in the bay.
Okay, so I think Chris did a report on this not too long ago, but the fact is, obviously, our water system's not ours. That's North Miami Beach. So, so we don't own our water system. And the sewer lines are owned by Miami-Dade WASA, the Water and Sewer Authority of Miami-Dade. So we technically don't own those utilities or don't control those utilities. Obviously, we have some governance over the utilities with permitting process and that type of a thing, but we don't control them. But I'm going to let Chris speak to this.
Right. So I am obviously aware of the fact that North Miami Beach controls our water. I'm obviously aware of the fact that Miami-Dade County controls the sewer. But what happens when it breaks, or how do they know?
Fix it.
But how do we know the integrity of these lines? Have we ever evaluated them, or do we want to evaluate them, or is there some budgeting process for that? How do we know if there are any leaks or anything in any of these pipes or lines? So Chris, I'd like you to address that.
I'm going to resend out the report that I did in March. That was pretty thorough. I was working very closely with WASA on the sewer lines. I think, I want to send that all out because, first of all, my answer is very short on this. I'm going to send the report out again. It was in the newsletter in March of this year. And it was after all the breaks and the problems that Fort Lauderdale was having. Our sewer system is probably in one of the best conditions, if not the best, in Miami-Dade County. for two reasons. Number one, they started in the late 80s of replacing all the sewer lines in this region of the unincorporated area of the county because it was so run down that that's when the redevelopment actually started. It actually started before the city was incorporated. It started after Winston Towers, but when the Oceania 1, 2, and 3 were built was fundamentally when this process started. My report, just based on when you read it, again, possibly if everyone looked at it, will give you an idea of the years. Sewer lines, mains, sewer, there's three types of, I'm not going to go into the whole report. It's very clear in there, but there's basically three types of sewer pipes. And the big ones that you got to worry about, their lives mostly are between 60 and 100 years. And ours are probably some of the newest ones in the county. The other thing that we were able to do is get our pump station on top of the list of a $1.6 billion federal consent decree order for Miami-Dade to upgrade their pump stations and lines that are in disrepair and deal with septic situations. We removed we don't have any septic tanks anymore. Those were removed about 10, 12 years ago. And the rest is in the report. As far as the water company, we keep tabs on them. Their water quality has always been, to me, that's the most important thing. The treatment plants have been run and met all federal standards. I can tell you from having been a manager, assistant manager, my first job, which ran the water treatment plant, that is highly regulated, more than probably anything else. And I went back to them since our agenda review on, Monday or Tuesday. And I can only recall two main breaks that were not major or significant. They were both fixed in a day that we've had here, which is minor in my experience. And that's about all I have to say on it right now. But I'll be happy to send out that report.
What about leaks? Any potential leaks or viewing or doing camera studies on? Do we have any issue with potential leaks of any of these mains or these pipes?
If they do, the county, the county is out here regularly checking them and flushing them out to see if there's any problems in them. They've been doing a significant part of the city over the past few months. So again, they're very good at notifying us if there's a problem with our sewer system.
So that goes
really
all throughout. That goes throughout the city, because I'm aware, obviously, of the consent order and the pump station, that refurbishment and the redo of the pump station. But what about throughout the entire city?
That's what I mean.
That's the south side.
Yeah, the pipes are in very good shape in our city, sewer lines.
So we have no need to necessarily budget for any evaluation or review of any leaks or anything like that, in your estimation?
We've never had any problem that would indicate that we would need to go to the county to say we want to do this ourselves. I guess that's the best way I could put it. Yeah.
Okay, so we've
really been very fortunate with the sewer system, whether it's the pressure from the developers from those years on. Like I said, our system is pretty new when you compare it to the articles and things that you find from other places. Yeah. But I'll always send that out. It really needs to be read. Yeah.
Because we've definitely grown in size. So the question, always arises, how the capacity for this area. So.
Yeah, that's WASA. I mean, WASA has got, they have a huge staff. They got a lot of engineers. And anytime anybody goes, they put you through the third degree when you go for a connection permit. I can tell you, I've done it before. So it's not, that's, they gauge the capacity. I mean, that's their responsibility. They gauge capacity. But to Chris's point, I was here, when they were digging up Collins Avenue and putting the new sewer lines in. I remember, because I was frustrated because at the time Atlantic Island was still on septic, and then eventually we connected to it. But I don't, it's almost like the city taking on responsibility for the beach. I don't think it would be prudent for us to try to take on responsibility for oversight of what they're responsible for. It's just expense. And especially if the city manager doesn't feel we have a problem. But I remember Chris's report, so I would just say to Chris to distribute it, and then let's take, you can take another look at it. And if you have any more questions, you can ask them. So, and, and the water department's the same way. When there's been an issue with the water lines, I remember we had an issue on Atlantic Island. They're pretty responsive. They fix it quickly. The water lines leaking isn't as problematic as the sewer leaking. So I agree. You want to watch the sewer carefully. If a water line leaks, it's leaking water. But the fact is that, I think the manager's on top of it is the bottom line.
Very concerned about Biscayne Bay, and I'm sure there's going to be more inquiry and discussion about that in the coming year.
But we haven't had a problem. So, okay. Any other comments around this, Mauricio? Any public comments on this issue?
On this issue, no, Mayor.
Okay. All right. So that's it for the discussion items. We will open for the citizens forum. Do we have anybody that wants to speak, Mauricio?
Nobody that wants to speak, but we do have a comment that came in. I'll just read that very quickly into the record, Mayor. This comes from Keith Oliver. His address is 15645 Collins Avenue. And it says, congratulations, Commissioner Goldman and Vice Mayor Svechin on continuing their duties representing our city with an open door policy. As active SIB residents since before incorporation, my wife and I look forward to normalizing commission meetings and fully opening Gateway and all city parks as soon as safely possible. As original visionary and proponent to create and develop our Gateway Park Butterfly Garden as a city attraction, I invited Mr. Russo to meet me and discuss garden successes, failures, and future enhancements in our Gateway Park Butterfly Garden. While Wuhan virus is still dictating our social life, I urge all residents to explore Gateway Park City Garden, now in full winter bloom, and take 10 minutes to snap a photo or count the number of butterfly varieties still visiting our host plants and new flowers. Please keep in mind attempts for children to catch butterflies or walk into plant beds will harm them, and winter is our slowest butterfly season. Thank you to all our commissioners and staff for continuing in running our city, and to all our residents for having expressed their appreciation of our Gateway Park Butterfly Garden as a valuable feature of our greater Gateway Park enhancements. Warmest holiday wishes, Mr. Keith Oliver and Mrs. Yvonne Fang Oliver. So we have official butterfly ambassadors in Keith and Fang. So thank you, Keith. Thank you, Fang. And best wishes, but thanks for the follow-up in the butterfly garden. With that, no other public comments. I will ask for a motion to adjourn. So moved. Okay. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. And let's look for a brighter 2021. 2020 has been a year to remember. Take care, everyone. Thank you.